Oh, good morning, my handsome humans, beautiful Facebook tribe. Happy Sunday, happy sacred Sunday. There's my lovely bride, Tanya Folsom, supporting me. Hi, babe. Ronnie Patton, Corb's on. Good morning, Ron. Feels like Ron, you and I are hanging out more now than even when you were living here or we were in the army, right? Kind of fun. All right. Yesenia. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday. All right. Here we go. Good morning, good morning. So, hey, the theme for today's Facebook Live quarantine edition is going to be about powerful partnerships. And this is a central theme to my life because I definitely grew up pretty isolated. I had a lot of social anxiety. I didn't, Alvin, good morning, my man. I didn't do community very well. I didn't do team and partnership very well. And I, like a lot of people that I know, particularly men, felt that if I just got strong enough and smart enough and good enough, that I would finally be enough and I'd be successful. And so I kind of ran that program for a while, never really recognizing that it was never going to work for me because that's not what humans are built to do. Human beings are not solo super predators that roam through the jungles of the world like tigers. We are inherently pack animals, and probably the big suffering of our time is the fact that we have become so isolated. We've had our tribe systems, our communities, our partnerships shattered. And this has been going on for a long time, and it's just very loud right now with the coronavirus and our social distancing and quarantining, that we're now forced to really look at this and examine some of these big things and potentially even find a way to recommit and reconnect to our people while remotely, because what we were doing before wasn't really working. like the tracking numbers about clinical anxiety, depression, suicide, it was not boding well for our current state of meaning and fulfillment. And so here, like many things, we get to take a look at what our lives are. And the very interesting part about this whole quarantine experience is that we, myself, we all get to really look at this moment and this window of free running room and say, okay, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? How do I live my life without some of the external pressures? What am I, what should I be watching? What should I be reading? How should I be living my life? And this is a really remarkable opportunity for everybody to take a look at some of those things in a very robust and transparent and honest, brave way. So, partnerships is the theme that we're going to explore with that today. And like I said before, we are inherently a pack animal. We're defined by the people that we're around. It's the number one driver of not only longevity and the blue zones, the areas in the world where people live the longest. It's not dictated by lifestyle, it's dictated by community. So the people who live in areas where you feel like you have a sense of belonging, you live longer because you don't have this overwhelming chronic stress and high cortisol rates. Same thing with sales. The people who are the most successful in the sales world are the ones that connect and build relationships first. So, across the board, the way we interact with each other is that primary defining thing. And I heard a wonderful quote from one of my mentors, Dr. Stephen Johnson from the LA Men's Center. And he said, if you remove your job, alcohol, and sports, then men have no friends. And that just hit right to the core of me because that was my life at that time. And we are now in that place where, what are we doing with do we have jobs? We're not going out socializing and drinking. There are no sports. So who are we? And that's the defining question. So there are a number of I've researched a lot of this about how people partner together well. How do we build cultures? How do we form alignment and sustainable partnerships with people? And that's what I want to share with some of you guys this morning. However, more importantly than all of that is my mighty tribeswoman Michelle Dean is now on. And boy, I wish we could all sing happy birthday to you, Michelle, because it's your birthday. So, Michelle Dean, happy birthday. And it's also my other tribeswoman, Macy Grimm, was a wonderful adventure therapist. We just took a dozen kids up to the mountains before all this hit and did some great work. So, Macy Grimm, happy birthday to you as well. Cole Christie's on. Cole, it's good to see you. I miss you, brother. All right. So here, launching into powerful partnerships, connections. A lot of you who have been following me and know me and have worked with me, you know that there are two different operating systems running simultaneously in our current culture. One is an honor-based system, which is interpersonal, right? Which means it's defined by the relationship that we have with each other. Honor-based systems are the oldest core operating system that we have because we at one point absolutely needed each other to survive. And so those tribe systems are based on honor behavior. And they're still living in isolated pockets of our current culture. We see that in first responders and sports and military and a few really elite, high performing, not only men's groups, but also corporate groups. But they're rare. And they're to be defining their boundaries and recommitting to their culture because those isolated islands of honor based culture are embedded in a giant sea of pride based cultures, which is our current operating system as a society. And instead of it being interpersonal and relationship oriented, it's about it's ourselves oriented. So it's very individual centric. And that's the way that our culture had to go because to be able to maintain an honor based culture, you need to actually have invested a tremendous amount of time and energy into your relationships. It is a very intimate, a very interconnected, tight fabric of working together and partnering with people. And you cannot have those honor based, intimate relationships within a giant community. So generally, it's about 100 people, and then we hit a capacity where I can no longer maintain that level of relationship with people. So we're in a pride-based culture, but we're trying to find honor-based opportunities to be able to have that tribe level of connection with people. So how do we do that? That's the big question. It's going to come down to four different categories today. The first one is about alignment. So when you're partnering with people, and we're here remotely, you're sitting in your living room and or at your kitchen table, and we're looking at who's on this Facebook Live. You were probably on social media before this, desperately trying to find connection. You're trying to give value, trying to receive value, and again, just trying to find that sense of belonging, which is our number one gold standard of meaning. And so, how do we do that? How do we reach out and connect with people? And alignment is going to be the first big topic. So alignment consists of three big components, and you know, like every day when I'm doing these, I encourage you guys to write some notes because you'll remember stuff more. And it's always nice to include this in a journal and reflect on this and allow it to marinate and to develop. So take some notes if you'd like. And at some point, I'm going to start doing these on Zoom because then I can actually share some of the worksheets and graphics. But it's a technological leap. I'll be doing that soon, probably this week. All right. So if you're taking some notes, there's three things to create an alignment with your tribe. So these are the people that you like and you like to do work with and like to stay connected and have a deeper relationship. But you need to do three things. Number one, you need to have a shared purpose. Why are we here? What are you doing with your life? What are your priorities? This shared purpose is that North Star that we're all navigating off of. Like, what is your priorities in your life? And you need to have that in lockstep with the people that you want to have your partnerships with life. In work, that's called your vision statement. It's like, what are we doing? And this is the first central thing. And so put some thought into that. Like, it's your big why, to just quote Simon Sinek. What is your why? And that's worth journaling about. It's worth writing about. It should be aspirational. It should be inspirational. It should be something that you can never achieve because it's that big. And it's a very powerful thing to reflect on. And generally, people who have that why, that purpose, that meaning, the vision, then we can withstand any what or any how, right? To paraphrase Nietzsche. So, really important. The second alignment component is going to be about your values. So, what are the primary guiding principles of your life that when you're faced with A or B, you make that decision? And we talked about decisions being an actual cutting or killing, like deciding. So, we are divine in the sense that we are the ones that intentionally decide certain things away to be able to manifest the other thing that we did choose. And unless you can share those values with your your partners, then there will always be conflict. There will always be lack of continuity. You'll be out of alignment, and at some point, it will not work. And this has been corroborated with me personally over some of my failed partnerships in business and personal life, but it seems to also be corroborated through all the leadership language and books that you can have access to in my field. So, alignment with vision, alignment with values. These are the two first central things, and putting some clarity in that, and then finding a way to share it with your people is absolutely vital. Okay, the third one, mission. Okay, so we need to be able to be working on the same things. And a lot of times, this can be the easiest one because it's the most immediate. What is the project that we can work on? But sometimes we have to actually create opportunities and projects. And so the three alignment pillars to create your tribe are mission, vision, and values. If you have one of these that you share with your people, then you have a group, like a Facebook group, right? If you share two out of the three, you have a team. And teams are powerful, and definitely have as many as possible because it creates meaning and energy and oftentimes abundance. Okay, but if you share all three of those, then you automatically tip from team into tribe, and you start looking at members who share all three of these as an extension of yourself. And this is kinship. This is belonging. This is all the stuff that we really want to have, and that's That's the magic bullet for a lot of our problems. All right. Mission, vision, values. Put some thought into that. It's very, very good. Good morning, Glenn, Jody, Sarah, Kyle. For the guys who are as old as I am, Romper Stomper, Bomper Boo. I don't even, what was that from Zoom? Some old kids program, like the Mickey Mouse Club or something. All right. So that's alignment. That's the first topic. Connected to alignment, I want to just very briefly chat about some of the mission related things. Number one, when we're looking at how do we partner with people on a mission, a success, a job, a project, and this is the way that humans join together in our current pride-based world. And and the first one is the recognition. This is really important. Put a star by this one. Energy cannot travel in a vacuum, and it doesn't matter if it's sound, right, or heat, or even light. When light travels through space, it carries its own medium with it. Energy travels in waves. So there needs to be some sort of a medium through which energy is exchanged, and if you don't have that, it doesn't move, right? That's why there's no sound in space. So we need to share projects. We need to share missions. We need to share things that we do together because that is the medium through which the energy of humanity travels. So involve people in your projects, whatever it is you're working. Reach out to people and partner with them. And when we're doing that, it has to be reciprocal. Reciprocity is not only does it just run at the very core of our species, but reciprocal things are the way that most of the energy systems in the world work. And we have moved from reciprocity to transactional relationships, which means I will pay you if you do this. I will. It's very short lived. It's temporary. Burns out fast. Reciprocity is very important, and the people that I allow into my inner circle, they're people who want me to win, and I want them to win. And so reciprocity is incredibly important. And a lot of times when we're in that transactional relationship or pride based world, we tend to either feel threatened or bitter when we see other people win. And that's because we're defined by our own identity in a pride based world. And we see people doing better than us, then it's very threatening to our sense of well being and our existence at an egoic level. So reciprocity is a very powerful thing. Like give gold. Seek to understand first. Seek to have other people win first. Provide value first. And reciprocity is incredibly powerful. The people who are not reciprocal with myself, you don't get to hang out with me. If you don't share the same values that I share, then it's not going to work. So reciprocity is one of those ways that we need to be able to share a mission together. So we create the medium and energy can flow. The energy of relationships, the energy of connection, of belonging, it drives meaning. Okay? Connected to reciprocity is transparency. And transparency is that clarity of being able to make sure that the medium through which our energy travels is pure and it doesn't twist things. And transparency is very, very important. In fact, most of the successful organizations have some sort of a transparency standards about the way that they operate. And one of my favorite ones, and I guess I got this from working with Google. Google has something called OKRs, which is objectives and key results. And it's the way that they set their KPIs or key performance indicators, and it's a goal setting system. And what's powerful about it is you all get to set your own goals at Google, and they need to be in alignment with whatever your team is working on, and then they go public. And what the transparency of setting your goals and everybody knows what you're working on is it creates not only accountability, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but it also creates the opportunity to have people question or clarify or refine or add or have synergy, contribute. Boy, transparency is incredibly important uh, when you're sharing a mission together. Right? So when you're working on missions, make sure they're reciprocal, make sure they're transparent, and then lastly, we need to have accountability. Okay, accountability is central to honor-based systems. It's central to any communal organism. Is that when things don't work, we need to have backup. We need to have that external check-in or support or boundaries or whatever you want to call that. And so accountability is the way that really successful people operate. They hire coaches, right? And I'm one of them. That people hire me just to hold them accountable for things and to clarify things and to be able to set boundaries and keep them in the middle of the road so we don't slide off into the ditches and the weeds. Accountability is just clutch. And the truth is, as as powerful and as willful and disciplined as we think we are, we will never be able to hold ourselves accountable in the long run because we're failed creatures. We were born with original sin, and we get lazy, we get distracted, we get tired, right? And so at some point, the tribe is what keeps us on our path, on our sacred golden path forward. And one of the things they taught me when I was in the military is you take care of your brothers first. You take care of them before you take care of yourself. And that sounds very counterintuitive for pride-based people. It's like, oh, you're not going to take care of yourself first, but then you'll die. And the truth is, you won't die because if you're part of a reciprocal team of people which are honor-based and aligned with your common mission, vision, and values, then everybody's taking care of you. So if you've got a team of 12 people, and that's a pretty a nice little tribe right there, then you've got 11 people taking care of you, which means you almost don't have to take care of yourself because everybody else is doing that for you. And they're holding you accountable for the behavior that they expect, the standards of operating. And the reason why we don't have that, and the reason why in most of our pride-based relationships we don't have that level of accountability, is that accountability inherently involves conflict. And that's a very scary thing when we don't share certain standards of behavior, intimacy, forgiveness, connection, alignment. We simply won't hold each other accountable because how dare you? Right? That's what we would think. What an imposition. So, the creation of accountability, that healthy conflict, can only happen when we have tipped over the alignment category into kinship. And the root of kin is the same root as kind. And so the way that I treat my kin, my inner circle, my lifeboat people, I treat them with kindness because they're an extension of myself. That means that when I'm holding them accountable for something, or when they're holding me accountable, then they're not doing it to undermine me, they're not doing it to marginalize me or to punish me. They're doing it because I, them, we, Ubuntu, I am because we are, requires that level of behavior. This is what one of the biggest things I learned from the wolves is they need each other. Because they need each other, they don't bite each other. Because they don't bite each other, they get to have that healthy conflict and they get to hold each other accountable nonstop. And so they squabble like like brothers, like veterans. If you're ever around a bunch of veterans, you just be shocked at the amount of ball busting that goes on. And I miss it. I miss that a lot. So those are these are the big core pieces to be able to maintain a resilient, sustainable, powerful partnerships as we start flexing into not only the quarantine, remote world that we're going to be in temporarily, but it will also provide you a launching pad that when things do normalize, that you'll come out weaponized and better. And ideally, you're coming out with a whole new slew of people who you can partner with on projects. So make sure that go transparent with the projects you're working on. Intentionally reach out to partners here through social media or in your circles, and share what your vision is. Really do some deep thought about really what your core operating values are, and share those with your potential partners. And then share ways that things can be reciprocal. And before we do that, again, things are at some point are going to get out of alignment. So talk about how you're going to be able to navigate through that conflict, that inherent conflict that's going to happen with accountability and realignment. And then make sure that you've established those things, because when that happens, then you'll be hunting big game, right? And this is ultimately what we all want to have, is we want to be involved in projects that are moving the conversation of our species forward. We're doing big things, creating big projects that have meaning and create legacy. And that doesn't happen by yourself, people. No matter how good you are, you will still never be able to create lasting, sustainable, legacy involved projects until you partner with other people. All right, Jeanette, that's one of my tribesmen right there. Jeanette Davidson is my speaking agent and my ally, and I want her to win all the time, and I want her to win holistically. And I want you to win, because I know that if you win, I win. It's a really beautiful thing. All right. So everybody, claim your power, which ultimately is about your community. All right. And if you're wondering about that idea of you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with, you will attract the level of people that you deserve. And so it's, it operates 2 ways. We are part of a group, but we are also a bunch of individuals as well. And this is also the lessons of the wolves, is that they're all different. They all have unique personalities. They all have different specialized roles. So level up your game, your own individual life game. Do your reading. Be very mindful about your diet on this quarantine. And I don't mean just your physical diet, although I do that as well. But let's be very intentional about what we're taking in. What are we watching? Be mindful. Don't watch a bunch of junk. Don't binge out. Read, watch, write, live the way that you're going to be able to elevate yourself, because then you will attract better wolves, and better wolves hunt bigger game, and that's a fun journey to be on. All right, y'all. So many blessings, Sacred Sunday, and closing thought, sacred involves the word sacrifice. So none of these things are easy. And so embrace the suck and do the hard things. Do the hard things first. All right. Happy Sunday, y'all. Stay connected. If anybody wants to reach out, I'll be around today, and lots of love to you.